Hi everyone and welcome back to Being Joy. Quint, my name is Joy and today we are doing episode 3 of Being Mrs. Q. Now this is a series that I chose to start just so that the young women who are anticipating to get married or just got married or thinking about it or just love to listen to me rant have an avenue of knowing firsthand the kind of things that they are to expect down their journey from being just ordinary women to being a bride and thereafter to being a wife. So thank you once again for your response to the last video. I really appreciate everyone who took their time to watch it. Sorry if it was a bit too long for your liking, but some of these things just can't be said in like 10 minutes. So our next topic is going to be premarital counseling, or some people like to refer to it as PMC. So what is premarital counseling? What is premarital counseling? To explain it how I understand it, it is a period of time that you spend before you get married, and you spend it with a mentor, maybe an older couple in marriage, or with your pastor, or with your peers, and you go through a program whereby you're taught what to expect, how to deal with circumstances, what to do when life happens, just to sensitize you on the journey that's ahead of you. Understanding it is a period of time that is set apart to help you and your partner get to know each other better under the umbrella of marriage. Yeah, and this is a period of time that you can go through with your pastor. You can go through it with an elderly couple who can be like your mentor, and these people will explain to you, or the program will explain to you, what to expect when you're married, how to handle your finances, how to handle when you fight, and how to resolve conflicts. It will teach you about compromise. And so I feel that this is very important, because some of us just fall in love, get a ring, get married, and then boom, and we're in this space where we have no clue. We're wondering, wasn't I in love with this person? Why do they have so much drama? Like, why didn't I see this coming? And some people have even walking out of relationships over issues that, should they have taken the time to have someone talk to them and go through such a program with them, that it would have saved their marriages. I usually don't believe in walking into things without knowing what to expect. I'm sort of very eager to know, or to be very well prepared, so that I don't fail. So nowadays there's so many options. Q and I decided to do the NDOA program that's offered at Mavuno Church. There are others at Nairobi Baptist. I know there's one at Nairobi Chapel as well, and All Saints. So there's really no limit or no preferred place where you can do premarital counseling. I suggest that you discuss with your partner and then come up with a program that will suit both his needs and her needs. And because if you both go in and you're not comfortable, then you're not going to reap the best out of it. So Q and I chose to do the NDOA program offered at Mavuno Church, and believe it or not, it really changed us both as individuals and as a couple. And I say this because we did a NDOA Enrich class, which is a class for people who were already living together. Okay, so Mr. Q and I chose to do the NDOA program as part of our premarital counseling. I have a mentor who's been married 17 years, and so we would have dinner with them from time to time, just to get their view on things and to share with them what we are going through. Now the NDOA program, and I'm going to share it because it is what we did. The NDOA program is divided into two groups. There's the Quest and there's the Enrich. The Quest group is for people who are dating, people who have just been engaged and are not living together. And by living together is like for real, being together in the same house every day. And so this program is really good for like people where the point you reach in your relationship where you're sure you want to go to the next step, but for one reason or another, you're asking yourself, well, what's on the other side? Do I really want to go to the other side? And this program might help you overcome whatever fear it is. It might teach you a lot. You will learn so much about your spouse, not your spouse, your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your fiance, that will give you insight as to what lies ahead and what type of decisions you're expected to make and what mindset you would have when going in. The other thing is that you actually don't need to be a member of the church to attend the program, so don't feel as if it is a special package for the people who go to Mavuno Church. You could, just spend the 10 to 12 weeks every Sunday or Saturday, depending on where you stay, and then go in and do the program. So what I'm going to share with you guys is our experience doing the Ndoa Enrich program. Quint and I got engaged in February, and the Ndoa Enrich program that I wanted us to do was starting in May. And so we had to register, and the registration forms are very candid. Like, you have this moment where you have to be super honest with yourself when filling it in, because they ask you, are you living together? Are you dating? Are you sleeping together? Do you have children? Are you pregnant? All those things, so that they're able to place you in the right class. So if you lie to look good on paper, then you might end up in the wrong class at the right time. You get what I mean? Like, you might end up being in a place where the information is very, very good and very, very timely, only that it's not tailored for you. So if you do choose to do this program, then I suggest you be honest. I mean, us guys had to be like, very, very honest. Now, the reason why I said that I wanted to do the class is that more often than not, the women are more inclined to be willing to attend these classes. I remember Q would say, why do I need to sit in a class where people are going to tell me how to be married? I mean, this is my marriage. I should know how to go about it. And so he wasn't really the most cooperative when it came to doing the class. In fact, I remember the first day of class, we actually didn't make it to class. So we chose to do the Sunday class, meaning we had to go to Hill City. And so we got out of the car, and of course I'm excited because yay, I'm getting married, and this is the big step, premarital counseling. And so we just walked past the main dome, headed down, and then he stops. And so I ask, okay dogs, what's happening? Aren't we going? And then he says, I don't feel like doing this anymore. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I just don't feel like doing this anymore. And so fast, tears just start coming. It's like there's usually an overdose of hormones when you're engaged, yeah? Everything seems to make you want to cry. And so I'm here and I'm like, oh, so why did you lie? We even paid. And so he's like, it's okay, the money is nothing. And I'm like, no, why are you doing this to me? And so he says, I won't talk to you when you're crying. And he starts walking, and now I'm like, you're walking away? And so we went back to the car, and we both went back to the car because Imani was in Sunday school. So there's no way we are going to ditch the baby or go pull the baby out of Sunday school because we are having a disagreement. And so we went back to the car, and of course I took off my ring and threw it in the car, and was like, if we're not going to do this, I'm not getting married to you. And it was just bad. And the thing with fighting with Q is that he's such a gentle soul. So you get really agitated, and he's so calm. And so for a minute you think, I must be crazy. I mean, there's no way he's this calm. Well, needless to say, when we got home, he explained to me why, he had cold feet. And it happens to be an issue of being vulnerable in front of people, in such a way that you're expected to be deeply, deeply honest and share with people you don't know your vulnerabilities. And so this really took him back, and he didn't feel ready to do it. But I called a friend of mine who was in the class and asked, okay, so what was the exercise for this week. And then she told me what it was. And so in the middle of the week, when, tempers had cooled down, we sat down and, I showed him what it's about. And he said, cool, I'll try. And so our first class really was to talk about our personalities. And when in the class we did this exercise, and everyone who thinks they're either a sanguine, a phlegmatic, a choleric, or a melancholic would sit in different groups. And so in these groups, you are supposed to write the negative things of the other personality types. And so we went all out. I'm a sanguine, so our group had written the way the other guys are boring, and they're quiet, and they're over analytical, and they over question, and and everyone had written so many things. They called the sanguines lazy. So when we were done, the facilitator went like, do you guys realize that everything negative you have written on that wall represents your spouse? And we all just went quiet. And so as we learned on that day, we learned that most of the things that we go through are not really who we are, or are not really like because we don't love the other person, but it's who we actually are, how we react to different scenarios, how we protect ourselves from different scenarios that cause us to react in some different way. And if you do not understand what your partner is in terms of personality trait, then how are you going to communicate with this person? I mean, I learned that Q would like to analyze before making a purchase. I'm very, very shopping happy. Like if you tell me we are going to buy a fridge, I just know we are going fridge, this one. Can we afford it? Pick it. Let's go. But he would like to see, okay, so how many brands are there, and where is there a deal? Where can I get a good deal for this? Okay, what is said about this kinds of fridge? And like he would really like to analyze so that he can get by the time he's making that purchase, he is beyond a doubt sure that this is what he makes. And for me, I think that's stalling. I'm like, can't you just make a decision? Yeah, so we really, really had to learn. And for us, the turning point was this class, because when we left and when we were outside, we actually just took a moment and said sorry. And I remember I told him, I'm so sorry, because I didn't know that this was you. And he told me, I didn't know that your personality type just craves attention. And of course, it's such a eye-opening moment. I mean, and I like that this was the first step, because now you actually know who you're dealing with, so nothing is really a shock. But my best class had to be week 7. Week 7, we spoke about submission. Now in the book, you have a booklet, yeah. In the book, it was called the S word, and I remember being so excited. I didn't even want to go ahead of myself because I knew we were talking about sex. Lo and behold, it was submission, and this was a big one for me. Like just to learn how to step back and allow my husband to be, the head. I was not ready for that. Before Quint, I was alone for a long time, and I knew how to do my own things. I knew how to manage my own money. I knew how to make things work. I knew how to run the house, so here I am, and now all of a sudden I have to and let someone else take the lead. And that week, everything I kept reading just kept making me think, really? So this is marriage? Am I going to give up who I am? So no. And then when we had the discussion in class, it was so nice to find out how many people were struggling with this, like how many other women were struggling with this. And so you get sort of like in a comfort place, like a safe place where you're able to share with people what you're afraid of. Like I remember I was so afraid of telling Quint how much money I make. Like so afraid. I mean, I had his pain, I had, I think I set up mobile banking for him, internet banking for him, so I knew his passwords and everything. But this guy didn't have, he had never even seen my password. So, like I was very, very secretive in order to maintain my independence. Like I wanted to have an upper hand. Like, okay, you don't know this about me, so, you can't pull anything on me in this regard. And so I had to come to that place of allowing him to be the king of the castle and for me to take my rightful place as the queen of his castle. And so I really, really thank God that we were in a class where people were able to share openly and freely and honestly to share their struggles, because I came to find out that I was not alone. And you don't only learn what your diagnosis is, but there's also a way out. And I remember the coach saying that the Bible says that husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church. And then after that comes, wives, submit to your husbands. And so he taught us that there has to be love coming from the top, and that this love is what is going to sort of put you in a safe place to be able to be submissive. And he said very clearly that submission is not foolish obedience. And I remember when we did like a guys versus girls thing in the class, and the guys were like, I don't want a yes kind of a person that, okay, I want to buy a shamba uko Kitengela. Sawa. Okay, sasa nimesikia kuna ingine uko Kamulu. Sawa. Okay, sasa kuna deal ingine hapa. They said, question. But it's how you're going to ask this question. Because guys really do not want to feel disrespected. I mean, there was a lesson we did about what men want, and I remember the guys did a list of what they think we want, and we did a list of what we think they want, and surprise, sex was coming in like number 8 or number 7. And so we got to learn more that guys expect respect, or rather love to be respected. And so it's the same thing when it comes to us, yeah, that he wants you to feel that he respects you. And when you show disrespect, then it's hard to be submissive. In the same breath, the guys were made to understand that if they do not show love for their wives, then they will not see the submission. And I remember, like, for me, I really struggled with the issue of just letting him take the lead, just letting him like be the guy. In fact, I remember one time when we were dating and we went to Java, and so here we are, nice, we've had our food, we've had a drink, and it was time to go. And then he's trying to get the attention of the waitress so that he can pay the bill, and this girl was ignoring him. There's that point when, yes, you're busy as a waitress, and so you can't really see everyone who, but this girl was ignoring him. She kept passing us, and I was getting agitated by the minute, because I'm like, this guy is such a softie, because why isn't he just taking charge? And so I decided to take matters into my own hands and say, excuse me, like, come, we want our bill. And he told me, Joy, you really have to stop being the guy. And this threw me off in more ways than one, that I went back and read that topic again just to find out, how do I submit? And I'll tell you for free, it is not something that you just wake up and say, oh, I'm a submissive wife. It takes patience, it takes willingness to learn, it takes respect and love for your husband, and most of all, it takes help from God. It helps when you have people around you who are able to teach you tips and tricks on how to be a submissive wife, and I can't cover that in this video this time. Okay, my biggest takeouts from the Ndoa and Rich class that I did was, and it's like a quote, it says, pray for him and work on me, or work on me, pray for him. And this is cause there is nothing that I as Joy is able to do to change the man I'm with. There is absolutely nothing that you can do to change a person. And who you are as a single person is who you will be when you're married, only that your negatives are going to be amplified. So if you lie, or if you are dating a guy who is dishonest, then be sure you're going to see the dishonesty in an amplified way. And I'm not saying this to scare you, but to sensitize you on how you need to start attacking the forces that are up against marriages working. And this is what I mean. When you say, work on me, pray for him, we are actually acknowledging that it no longer rests in our hands to ensure that our marriages are successful. It takes God to help and mold our men and mold our women into what he wants them to be. Then it is upon us to work on who we are so that we can see them how God sees them. Unless you're able to see people how God sees them, then you're not able to have relationships with them. And that is why sometimes when you see someone who is sick, you're seeing how they need care, and in that moment or with those feelings, then you're able to relate and to show empathy with them. Same thing, the upside of attending a premarital class, because it helps you deal with everything that is along the way, with every example of a roadblock that is along the way, to help you, you know, when you're facing the real deal. And so there'll be no surprises. I mean, when like you have a disagreement, you will know how to fight. Like, I'm supposed to be attacking the issue and not the person, so that as much as I'm angry, I do not hurt my partner's feelings. And I think everyone owes themselves and their partner an opportunity to see them at their most vulnerable. I mean, there are things that, were it not for the class, I don't think he would have ever found out about me, because we needed to be in that place where you're unashamed. Like, you've just been stripped of all of everything, and people can see right through you. I mean, when we left the class, we knew who lies and who says the truth, because there is no way you're going to be vulnerable and someone does not see who you really are. Like, there are people who we went on to be friends even after finishing premarital counseling, which is another thing. After you get married, you tend to sort of lose friends, and it helps when you've got like-minded people who continue to be your friend and who continue to share the same vision as you have for your marriages and for your families, who continue to, you know, invest in the friendships that you cultivated. So again, you don't feel like you're alone. I mean, you have people who you can call and say, whoa, things are bad, we argued. And it's not just Mboshene. You know, me thank God for the friends that I made when I did Ndoa. I mean, I can't act a fool. On a serious note, I can't act a fool. You know, I can't sulk for nothing, because I keep hearing their voices in my head saying, do you think you're being wise? You know, like, do you think you're being wise in doing this? So I'd like to encourage everyone who is probably thinking or at the verge of, you know, deciding whether or not they should do it, just go for it. You have nothing to lose. You have absolutely nothing to lose. But should you choose to go in and do any form of premarital counseling at the place of your choice, then be sure to give it your all. I mean, do not go in, one leg out. Just go in, give it your best, and you will surely reap the benefits. So once again, thank you so much guys for watching. I truly appreciate. Now during the week, or if you'd like to find out what I'm up to, then feel free to follow me on Instagram at It's Joy Quint, or follow me on Twitter at It's Joy Quint. Subscribe to the video, and until next time, bye bye.